I wasn't expecting to be doing this video for a long time. Yet, much to my surprise, the game just came out with its 1.0 patch, signaling the game's official release and its departure from early access, which means it's now fair game for a review. However, I didn't want to spend too much time cutting together a video for it since there's not a lot of substance to the game in the first place, so I figured instead I'd do something like I did with the beginning of Battlefront 2's video, and just do a quick trimmed down review for PUBG. This way I might even be able to get it done before Christmas. So without any further delays, let's get right into it. Like I said before, the game unfortunately doesn't have a whole lot of substance. It's a Battle Royale game mixed with the Battle Royale game, with a little bit of a Battle Royale game. You get the idea, it's a Battle Royale game. If you don't know what that means, it means like you have 100 players all in this big map, and you airdrop in wherever you want. You start with nothing and only one life, and you fight to survive and be the last man standing, so that you can win a chicken dinner. While this format is particularly good at making it more replayable, and makes no two games ever end up quite the same, it is the only thing this game has to offer, and if you're not really into the whole Battle Royale theme, then the game's fun will wear off on you pretty quickly, much like it did for me. On that note, that means yes, this game does not have any kind of single player campaign. But thankfully they do avoid charging full price for the game, so they have that going for it, which is nice. Moving a bit deeper into the gameplay, when it all works, there's clearly good reason it sparked this Battle Royale game trend, much like COD 4 did for the arena shooter trend. Each match is incredibly tense, every firefight, airdrop, and building you loot is equally so, and winning a game or even just doing well in a game is incredibly satisfying. It's highly conducive to fun, emergent gameplay, and it all works well in both third and first person modes. But that's only when it all works correctly. The game is marred with glitches, exploits, hackers, and lag that can often ruin the experience and makes it feel like it wasn't ready to leave early access. And the amount of content in the game reflects this, with only 2 maps with no different game modes, and no single player mode to play offline, or even a training mode to try out different weapons and configure your settings. Of course, they have said they'll continue to implement more content to the game, which I think they should have waited till then to call it a full release. Now thankfully all this new content is gonna come for free courtesy of the game's microtransactions. Which yes, this game does have microtransactions, and yes, they are loot boxes, so if you're principally against those, which is understandable, you might want to avoid getting PUBG. But this isn't really the worst case of it, as the contents of these loot boxes are purely cosmetic. Not a single ounce of gameplay is changed by what you earn from these loot boxes, so that's a plus. And while the gameplay overall is pretty well done, it certainly isn't without its flaws. Chief among them for me was with how big the maps are, it's really hard to get around them. Vehicles are there to help but are incredibly scarce, leading you to have to hoof it across miles of wide open terrain, with not a soul in sight in any direction, only to get gunned down instantaneously by someone with a machine gun as soon as you reach the playable area again, and to have this make up about 70% of the matches you play. But it's not that I would have wanted them to add more cars to the game, I guess would have liked them to add maybe bicycles as a slower but more common alternative to cars. And maybe while we're adding new types of vehicles, they could add like a helicopter as a rarer, but riskier and faster way to get around. Whatever they do, more toys for this huge sandbox would be greatly appreciated. And just as quickly as this game could possibly last you, we're ready to come to our final verdict here. I'm gonna have to give PUBG a 7 out of 10. It's got a really solid framework, but even at its reduced price compared to other games, I still didn't find it to be worth its asking price. Which isn't to say there aren't situations where I'd recommend it. If you have friends who play it, or you're a full-time streamer, or the Battle Royale game mode just really jives with you, then I'd absolutely recommend it for you. But if you're just looking for a new experience to play on your own, or you just want to get in on all this hype about the best-selling game of forever, which I'm not making any delusions for myself here, I don't think anything I say is going to change that. But if those are your reasons for wanting to get this game, you're probably going to be disappointed, especially if you're not into competitive shooters in the first place. But it is an amazing stream game for full-time streamers, and there's a lot of fun to be had if you have friends to play it with. But the latter is something that can be said for a lot of games, and I don't think it's anything that really makes PUBG special, and it's definitely a breath of fresh air after the arena shooter phase from Call of Duty. But with much more complex gameplay than that, I guess I should be happy that this is the new phase and not arena shooters. I just wonder how long it'll be till thousands of other games mimic the formula, and it ends up feeling just as stale and samey as Call of Duty. Till then though, that's the end of this video. I'd love it if you guys would go down below the video and press some buttons. If you'd like, you can support me on Patreon, and that'd be greatly appreciated. And I will see you guys next time. Get him, get him. He doesn't even know what the fuck was he.
No.
Oh, yeah! First game, first win.
Awesome. Nice job, Tom.
You're welcome, guys. I know I carried you pretty hard there.